And we're live. Hey, there's the chat. Let's scooch over a little bit. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
It's going well. How about you?
Good, good. So no TV today, so you're not so cramped in that little space. We're a little bit bigger, bigger
I can
talking
wait.
heads. Nice. So you've been up to some solo RPG. So how does that feel? How's that been? I'm sure it's just a first session, so you're getting used to it.
It was fun. I
Mm-hmm.
was really anxious at first,
Mm-hmm.
but um, once I got into it and got used to the fact that I was literally just rambling,
Yeah.
and I got into kind of a rhythm of using the little oracle when I needed to. It was fun. I thought it went
Cool.
pretty good. Couple
Nice.
mistakes, but hey.
So, what do you think of the system and the Oracle? Does it work well together? Does it well done?
Well, yeah. I mean, the it's a very simple, stripped down system
Mm-hmm.
anyway. And then the Oracle kind of reflects that. There's not a ton. There's
Okay.
parts. There's parts in the Oracle I could have used that I didn't use. I ended up just using the kind of like ask the Oracle yes no
Mm-hmm.
part and a theme part. I used that a ton.
Oh, cool.
So it was like sort of six different charts, and each one had six items on it. And you could roll on each chart, or you roll on a couple charts to kind of like we were doing in Iron Sworn,
Mm-hmm.
to get a theme, and that really helped set up encounters,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
move it forward. And then there was one point where everything went terribly wrong, and I needed to run away.
Uh-huh.
So I did end up using the guy who made the Oracle had a little chase system
Oh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
mini game he made because Cyborg doesn't have anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I used that, and that was fun too. Mostly because
Good.
I got away, but yeah, it
Right.
was.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad that worked out. So, how would you compare that to what we've experienced from Ironsworn? It was a very different system. You said a much more simple, but is it as satisfying? Do you think it both are satisfying, or is there a little bit deeper storytelling with Ironsworn?
Ah, very different,
Mm-hmm.
but I like them both.
Mm, cool.
I like with Cyborg, I'm using the Cyborg system for most things, so it feels more like a structured role playing session, I
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
guess. Because that's the problem. I've brought this up a couple times. You guys are probably sick of me hearing it, but sometimes in Ironsworn, I have a little trouble with the sense of pace
Mm,
and how much we can do before we should stop and do another thing.
right.
Yeah, because there's no rounds or days or there's no tracking really of any of that. So,
Yeah.
and obviously no initiative or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Cyborg, because I'm using their initiative system and everything, it's more structured, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they both have the very similar feel when you're using the Oracle for like theming,
Mm-hmm.
because basically I'm constructing the next task or challenge, not unlike I would do an Iron Sworn.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I resolve the challenge, it's more granular because it's a D20 shoot 'em up game and
Right.
not a narrative thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're different, but I think they're both valid. They're both good.
That's good. Good. Yeah, I felt that the first time I played like a Powered by the Apocalypse game, I felt a little bit of that. It's like I'm not sure what exactly is happening here, and what I want to do, none of the moves would apply to that. So how do I do this? So I guess we just talk this out, and it doesn't have mechanics. Like I felt a little bit like that with that was
Yeah.
Monster Hearts. Yeah, yeah, but it kind of makes you want to focus a certain way, and also the Master of Ceremonies, I think it's called in that game, is kind of helps focus you, helps get you to focus on the what your objectives are more in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But cool.
Fortunately, we have Will doing the Iron Sworn,
Yeah,
so
that's helped a
when
lot.
my brain checks out, he's like, "No, no, no, it's simple. You just do this." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, yeah, that's helped a lot. I'm so glad Will has experience because I think, yeah, if the three of us had zero with Ironsworn, I think it'd be really slow. I don't know if we would be
Yeah.
up to speed yet. Be like, are we facing danger? What are we doing? Yeah. Roll for confusion. Roll for nice. Oh, Orcus, hey. So
Oh,
Clarion and this Matt guy, I don't know. And James is in the chat. Nice. And Orcus showed up. Nice.
will you accept one of Orcus's Traveler Aid Society coupons?
Yes, of course, of course. Nice. Very cool.
5 terms in the Imperial Navy, and all I got was this damn Traveler Aid Society membership.
Nice. Yeah, have you played the Mongoose Traveler? I don't know. I'm assuming that's what Orcus played. Maybe they're playing
Yeah.
original.
Uh, yeah, I played a little bit. I'm really itching to run it.
Hmm.
There's so many games. It's such a
Yeah,
pain.
yeah.
But like I love Traveler. Like it's so like you make whatever you want out of it kind of, It's
Mm.
not as strict and locked down as like a 40K or a Star Trek,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you can do like a Firefly kind of game, or you can do, in fact, most Traveler games are kind of Firefly kind of games. Or you could do a military thing, you could even do like Xeno stuff, horror stuff,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
although that's being done better by other games.
Right. Nice. Oh yeah, Mongoose version. Nice. Yeah, yeah. But that'd be fun. That'd be really fun to get. Yeah, it's funny. We're like kind of jumping between fantasy and sci-fi in a fun way. It never seems like too much of any one thing. And then some of the genres too. It's like John Carter is like back in the day when it was both. Like there wasn't a distinction.
Yeah,
It's like we're
it
just
wasn't
playing. Yeah.
sci-fi.
Right, right. Yeah. So yeah, it's been fun. Nice. Yeah, so yeah, we'll talk some PAX. I didn't see any big news. Like there were, like announcements and people. Well, I guess we'll have one announcement that happened at PAX. But yeah, it seems like that show's gonna outgrow. I guess not really because of where it's based. I have a feeling Origins or something is limited by its venue. But it seems like because PAX Unplugged is in Philadelphia, so they probably have a huge center. They've got New York City nearby, so it's a.
I think don't they also do a West Coast one too?
I think they do Seattle. Yeah, I think there's one
Yes,
in
yeah.
yeah. I think there's one in Seattle. Yeah, I don't. I wonder about the. Yeah, because how do they do they call it? Oh, they used to. That's right, because they used to call it. I think the video game show they call it PAX East, like they do a PAX East, PAX West.
Mm-hmm.
For the video game, and so the Unplugged, I'm not sure if it's only on one coast. Yeah, I can't believe how instantly. I think it probably has to do with the company that's running it, but how instantly it became a contender with E3 and then with Gen Con. Like, geez,
Because
that's
it was just some guys that had a big fan base. It wasn't a
mhm,
corporate.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it really was, and it was like for the video game part, they wanted to support indie game, developers and stuff a lot more. So it was people, kind of in that day where there was like single developers getting a lot of attention for their games. Like those game, those titles are escaping me, but yeah, yeah. But back in the day when the kind of indie game development was really happening, and people wanted a venue to get stuff hands on because E3 just wasn't that. E3 is like literally like rock bands on stage and these giant like spaceships you walk into, this Nintendo building inside the convention center. So
Will and I very briefly had a fictitious business license
uh-huh.
quite some time back, and we let some guys borrow it to go to E3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, that was the one weird thing about E3 is it was supposed to be basically a B2B show. Like there was no public. I think did they have a public day at some point? But mostly it was just supposed to be, you know, the industry. But then there's these guys walking around with backpacks and in costume and like all. It's like what company are these guys working for? Like they're obviously just fans. They're obviously just like these gamer fans. You're wondering how the heck they got in there. But I guess it would also include every single GameStop employee, you know, had access to E3 because they're technically in the no, they're at the retail, like, you know, ass end of the business, but they were technically in the business. So the fanboys that were walking around, I think, were just all retail, you know, retail workers. But yeah, that's a show where obviously they very quickly realized you have to have private rooms and meeting rooms that are very far away from the convention hall because you can't have conversations in the convention hall. It's so loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Nice. But yeah, so we're gonna miss this week for actual play for Iron Sworn or Alien, but I was thinking it would be good timing to post
The consolation prize.
yeah, the consolation prize. No, but another actual play, like an actual play session. It won't be live, but it'll be original, all new as it's happening. And so I was thinking, Matt, should we do it as a premiere so there's a chat with it, or so you can get some feedback? You know, like people can react as it's going on.
I would love to. It's just the next couple of days for me are not great.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. No,
I probably wouldn't be on the chat.
sure. No, that'd be fine. But yeah, but people could then live respond instead of just comments below it. You know, there could be a real time because the chat has a replay when you premiere it. So yeah, no, I understand. And that's
Just
the thing.
be gentle, y'all.
And that's the thing that we're headed into the holidays. So yeah, our gaming schedule might get a little spotty, but we'll try. We'll try to make it make some sense. Yeah. So we've got and oh yeah, that's the other question. So I because of Black Friday and because we were having trouble with Foundry, I'm like, oh screw this, let's try something else. And so I got the discounted Roll20 subscription and a real cheap copy of the Destroyer of Worlds, and then I read a review after. See, I do the kind of the reverse thing. I read read a review of something after I buy, and be like, oh, that was a mistake. So somebody said it's the official module for Alien on Roll20 is garbage, and it is. And I went back to Roll20. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's like there's so much lacking. And I went back to Roll20 after having not looked at it for a while and seeing their new and improved version, and very little has changed. It is so far. I mean, it's been out forever, since like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
It's been out forever, and it's not. It's so shoddy and so like half-assed. I don't know what I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, maybe when it was originally built, it served the job of, you know,
A basic D20 game.
yeah, basically, 5e. It worked great for 5e. Gave everybody everything that they wanted. They could crawl squares, and fog of war, and light sources, and open doors, and that's it. And it's just like it hasn't got. So it might be fun to like really, now that I have this subscription, I can spend some time to really go in deep with both Foundry and Roll20 and pick apart everything that's good and bad about both, so people have a really good like analysis of both. Yeah.
You could do like a screen capture and have them both up at the same
Yeah,
time.
right. Yeah, no, that's
Like,
yeah, that'd be a good.
I
idea.
want to see how you do this in D20. I want to see how you do this in Foundry. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, because I think it's you know, Roll20 pretends it's the Coca-Cola, you know, because it's been around longer, but it's definitely, I mean, Alchemy has Alchemy has less functionality, but it's so much slicker. Like it's just so much better executed than anything in Roll20. It's so strange. It's like a Facebook browser game kind of thing. It like has this like weird like shoddy quality to it that I just don't understand.
Yeah, if Foundry could create a UI for the player-facing stuff that was approaching the smoothness
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
alchemy. Oh my god, they'd rule the world.
Yeah. Yeah, if somebody did that like a module, like a basically a theater of the mind module for Foundry where you just kind of stayed a little bit above and like you didn't have to worry so much about the configuring ownership of things and yeah, they came up with kind of a
Yeah.
standard, it would be nice.
Or even if there were just some general life improvement settings in
Hmm.
Foundry,
Hmm.
like there should really be a switch for you that's just like everyone in this game can see all this crap over here. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right. Yeah, they have that. If I select your token, I can see what you see as your token, but I can't see what you see as a player. Like I can't see what menus and stuff are not yours. Yeah, or if there was just some kind of indication, just like where they show our little circles, but with the player colors when I know what scene you're on. It'd be nice if I could look in the directories and the assets and it would show, oh, Will can see this, Matt can see this, everybody can see this. If there was a little quick kind of color coding or something. And there might be a plugin for that. There might be a module for that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the thing that's always I want to show you guys something and you don't have any ownership of it. So it's like, okay, you're showing us a black square. What are we looking at? Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So we'll see. And the implementation of Roll20 in Discord, I think, is not much different than if you just shared your screen with Roll20 in the window. It's like basically the same thing. I don't think the sharing and activity. Plus, it's a weird instance of Roll20, so sometimes it doesn't sync with what's. So I don't know. It's odd, but yeah, a deep dive I think in kind of the two and Foundry. I think if we don't have any more connection problems because I did my router, I opened up everything I needed to on the router. If we don't have connection
Mm.
problems, yeah, Foundry's
Yeah,
a nice
that's half the
implementation.
battle.
Yeah, and they
That's
get
been half the battle for us.
yeah, and it's been nice because they give you most of the gaming systems are free, like the worlds, for what
Hmm.
game mechanics and
Because a lot
the
of it's just user submitted stuff, right?
yes, yeah, it's all third party stuff, and most of it's free volunteer work, but
Mm.
it's people that have done really really nice stuff, and I hope there's some way they're being compensated.
I like the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
good, no.
I was just thinking that I was surprised, and Trevor Duvall had a lot of thoughts about VTTs in our
Hmm.
interview, and
Oh
that was
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
cool to hear his story about his developer working on the Foundry module and everything.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and I was happy to see that. Yeah, that he was like kind of keeping everything in play. And I looked back at the campaign page after we talked. I didn't realize they did miniatures and they did a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
supporting
oh yeah,
stuff for that
yeah.
campaign. It wasn't
I
just
got
the click.
the little dial trackers I added
Yeah,
on.
nice, nice.
All there were a lot of tchotchkes. I didn't get all of them, but
Yeah,
looking
and
forward to it.
something that really occurred to me too when he was talking about like trying to get as much information out of the one role as possible,
Hmm.
the skill levels and location, hits and everything. That was the thing. I realized how fun that was playing the BRP. I think we're playing. It was. Maybe it was either it was one it was a Call of Cthulhu or I think it was Call of Cthulhu, but
Hmm.
when you roll everything all at once, like in a combat, when you roll the damage and location, you roll all the dice at once because most of the time they're different. They're different size dice, so you can roll them all at once and not confuse anything, or they can just be color
Yeah,
differentiated by color. So it's great in combat because then when you miss and you see how much damage you would
yeah.
have done,
You're like,
that was
no.
really fun. Yeah, where you would have, if I would have hit that would have that would have been great. But
Yeah,
yeah, I really liked the that feeling,
yeah,
and for to consolidate that on just on fewer dice is really cool.
yeah. And I mean, he packed it all into that one percentile roll because he's got
Hmm. Hmm.
success level, hit location, critical or not, fumble or not. Uh, it's kind of it's the success level thing is also kind of your damage threshold. What else? I feel like there was something else, but anyway, yeah, it was just all in one percentile roll, which is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I hope his Foundry developer can implement that really well, because it seems like that could be something really wonderful, and maybe not too automated too. Like we're having that kind of experience with Alien, where it just does all these
Yeah.
extra rolls for you. You're like, whoa, 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 slow down. Yeah.
That's what I was immediately thinking of when he was talking about how he doesn't really like it all to be automated
Mm-hmm.
because he wants to understand what's going on. And I did kind of have that feeling when we were playing Alien because it's like we'd panic and it would throw up everything that was happening. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, wait a minute. I know a bad thing has just happened, but I'm not sure
Right. Right.
why or how to implement it or yeah.
Hmm. And the when it's being displayed in the chat like that, there probably is an option. There probably is a way to do this, but that probably should be something that only the game mother sees, so that I could narratively give it to you. Because when you all see, oh, it's screaming, or the certain type of injury, like with critical injuries and stuff, sometimes it doesn't match well. And so if I could explain that and kind of make it fit the situation more narratively, I think that would be better, instead of just saying, oh, now I freeze, now I scream. It's like,
Yeah, because there were a couple of times where one of us would panic in a non-combat situation.
yes, yeah.
And he'd like take cover, like from what?
Right.
Take cover from the shitty roll.
Right. Yes, run from shame after that roll. Yeah.
They almost need a mundane task panic chart or something that's separate.
Yeah, because it all is very combat oriented, and even the length of the time that you panic and stuff is like, it just happens very quickly. So
Yeah. But it's cool. It's all good.
Yeah. No, it's fun, and it's fun. Like the more, the closer to the edge you guys get, the harder it is to just open a door. Is just impossible.
Dude.
Do I have to roll? I really don't want to roll.
It is sort of salt in the wound because they're giving you all these extra 6-sided to roll. So you'll probably get some more successes, but you're also gonna freak out.
And then you'll have a chance for even more successes. Yeah. It's interesting. The escalation of it is really fun, really good. Yeah, and so it works well with the cinematic adventures. I'm really because I'm taking a look at the Colonial Marines source book for the just to have a little bit more marine information when we do Destroyer of Worlds, and they're talking about as a campaign, and I'm like, huh. Yeah, you can really you could get into situations where you really break yourself, and then you have to keep going in the campaign. Like I'm a basket case, and you're going to give me a machine gun. You're going to give me a pulse rifle. Okay. Yeah.
And I could also if it's an actual ongoing thing, at some point, aren't you going to do the bad guy stuff? Putting down revolts and stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, you could be ordered to do some pretty horrible stuff. Yeah, and I haven't seen yet if they do the moral dilemma stuff, like Blade Runner does really well. I wonder if they, do that. They kind of suggest that in Destroyer of Worlds, because there are sides. It's kind of an insurgency that you guys are going to run into, and that's explained in the briefing. The briefing at the beginning. So it's not spoiling anything, but so there already is. You could jump sides. It's possible because you are.
$5 says Will does that.
Right, Will's gonna get some sympathies. It's okay. AWOL's not so bad. Yeah. So we'll see, but so we'll post when that date's going. Oh, and I got permission from Trevor for the audio to add a little bit of the extra stuff, because we talked for another 10 minutes, I think, after the interview we have video for. So I will add some really fun voice actor stories and stuff that Trevor had.
Yeah, some good stories.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, I know we're supposed to be focusing on tabletop, but his career in voice acting
is too much.
Amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. So that'd be really fun to talk about. And I've got enough animation experience that I'm sure we can to go for a while. It might be too much. We'll have to start a new channel. Cartoon talk. All right. But are we doing this? Yeah. So Chris is ill and busy. So that's what you do in Japan. You go to work sick, and yeah, you keep going. So that means instead of taking a sick day and coming back healthy, you just keep working, and you'd never get better. So yeah, they're really good at doing that.
Get your coworkers sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they love the even before the pandemic, they love the masks here because you're going to work and you're coughing the whole time at your desk, and instead of people scowling at you, you look like you're trying to protect them. So, it's all fun. All right, well, good to see everybody in the chat. Let's get started for this week. Nice. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
So Chris isn't here this week, but she may be back. You never know. We got the holidays, we got the cold and flu season. You never know. But this week on the weekly, PAX Unplugged 2024, Amazon Warhammer deal looks like it's on. Elven expansion for the One Ring and 5e. And Free League partners with Two Little Mice. So let's start. So we're actually going to end on a happy note instead of one of those depressing, the industry is going away kind of notes. But let's start with the big show. So we missed last week. There was no weekly last week, and that was the weekend of PAX Unplugged. So PAX Unplugged has now cemented their position as the second largest U.S. game show, just by attendees, basically. I think they're looking at it that way. So it was held at the Pennsylvania Convention Center in Philadelphia over the past weekend. So it's second largest now, organized by ReedPop on behalf of the Penny Arcade folks. So the PAX originally stood for Penny Arcade Expo. That's the acronym there. And, originally was focused primarily on video games to kind of give the indie video game developers access where something like E3 wasn't really. I think actually they had a separate hall, and nobody went into that hall. So PAX filled that gap really well. So they don't release the attendance figures, but it looks like they're 50 to 100% larger than the number 3, which would be Origins. So Origins reports their attendees, and they said they had 17,700 in their 2024 show. They've failed to return. Their pre-COVID numbers were a bit higher for Origin, so 20,000 attendees in 2019. So they're dipping a little bit, and that could be because of the vacuum of PAX Unplugged. So yeah, Philadelphia is the 7th largest city statistically in the U.S. At about 7.4 million people. So that is a much bigger metropolitan area. So there's a lot of local people that would be attending that compared to something like Origins, which takes place in Columbus, Ohio, which only has 2 million people. 2 million residents in the area. And you're also then in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. So there's not, it's like Origins there's not much else you're going to be doing.
Go see a hockey game. Go see a hockey game.
There you go. There you go. And Origins has nearly 400 exhibitors compared to, I'm sorry. Origins is topped by PAX. They have 400 exhibitors compared to Origins 326. But they actually said, though, that some of the statistics that they're reporting is these are the numbers they're advertising, but it may actually be closer to 900 publishers that were represented. So that doesn't mean distinctive. I think when they say exhibitors, they mean counting booths and tables and things.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that share, and we'll talk about that. So there's people that multiple publishers. So yeah, they're saying PAX Unplugged represented up to 900 publishers.
So if it's definitely more, because if you go to Gen Con and you go to the food court at the mall next to Gen Con, you're going to get the opportunity to play 6 different demos in the food court of people that had just set up shop.
Right. Yeah, that's with some of those big shows too. Yeah, people are in the parking lot. They're
Uh,
they're around because it's a lot cheaper to do it that way, and because you're still gonna get the traffic because of the how crowded things are. So yeah, and I think Gen Con is having that trouble too. Probably for smaller exhibitors, is the floor is just maxed out. There's no more space. They can't add any more tables. So yeah, there's just no place for you. And they probably get priority to people that are already giving them money. Like people that exhibited in the past probably get priority
oh,
for
oh yeah, sure they
yeah.
do.
So that's the problem. So yeah, PAX is unlikely to ever surpass Gen Con with its 71,000 attendees. Oh my God. 71,000 tabletop geeks. Oh my God. In 2024. But it definitely has its Origins looks like a distant third compared to what PAX is doing now. So yeah, we can now call PAX Unplugged the second largest US tabletop show.
That's cool. I kind of feel bad for Origins. I always wanted to go to Origins because everyone who went that I talked to was always like, it's like Gen Con with less commercialism.
Mm,
There's more people here just to play a game,
right, right.
and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And
Hmm.
you just don't get as, I guess, you just don't get as big a draw with that approach.
Right. Well, but that's the thing too that I think PAX Unplugged has to be careful of is if they get attractive enough that people are going to want to do the big companies like Asmodee and Come On and everything. They want to do both shows. It is going to turn into a very commercial show, and so the same thing's going to happen. Is the little guys are going to get crowded out, and the prices and stuff, for exhibiting are probably going to get a little bit unreasonable because there were two shows that I did pretty regularly for my comics in California. One was of course, San Diego Comic-Con, but then there was the APE, the Alternative Press Expo that was up in San Francisco. That show, I would sell maybe double what I did at San Diego. San Diego's a much larger show, probably like tenfold larger, but everybody at the Alternative Press Show was there for me. At San Diego Comic Con, less than probably 1% are even interested in what I'm doing
Yeah.
there. So it makes a big difference. So yeah, something like Origins will always like have a place because people don't want to they want to play some chit based historical recreation game, and that's may lose its place at Gen Con. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things progress, and then we'll see if they do what they do with the video games, and they do a West Coast and an East Coast Unplugged, and then they'll do a Central Unplugged, and then South American Unplugged. You never know. But yeah, so let's talk about a big company that is it's doing better than it's ever done, but they're kind of possibly at a turning point. So that company, of course, would be Games Workshop. So there was a business article, I think, on a British finance site that the article was Games Workshop is entering a treacherous world with the Warhammer Amazon deal. So there were some questions. I think Henry Cavill kind of cleared things up when he posted on his social media that it looks like they've kind of come to terms, and that was something that we'd reported on, that they still hadn't settled on if Games Workshop was going to give Amazon the exclusive rights, and they had some creative issues they were mulling over, and I think they wanted to show each other some numbers behind the scenes and some back end of how things work before they really went into it. So yeah, after 2 years of deliberation, we've been talking about this deal for 2 years. Oh my God. Yeah, 40K, or the owners, Games Workshop, have finally formally granted Amazon exclusive rights to adapt their intellectual property into both film and TV content, which just basically means streaming. I don't think Amazon's going to be at your local movie theater with any big releases, but
Unless it really blows up, then they might do them.
Right. But this is basically Games Workshop putting 40 years of fan support and goodwill on the line, because we know that the people running stuff at Amazon, sometimes they want to inject their politics, sometimes they don't want to do Conan the Barbarian because they have certain ideas about things. So we've had some examples of companies taking big IPs that they have never done before and making them into movies and content. So we had that Super Mario Brothers movie that did insanely well. Sega's done pretty well with their Sonic the Hedgehog game movies, based on the games, which was surprising. But Amazon has also had the Rings of Power.
And Wheel
So
of Time.
Wheel
And
of
Wheel of Time.
Time, yes, yes, yes. So
Whew,
they've had the Boys and Fallout, which have been much more watchable.
way
HB,
better.
yeah, HBO really fumbled the Halo show. That was a joke. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see, like, who's involved. But the thing that everybody has a lot of confidence in is that Henry Cavill is not only going to be acting, but he's also going to be executive producing. So hopefully he'll be able to wield a little bit more influence and not let them, just kind of mess around with things. Just to, I don't know, if they get some idea about what they want the show to be, and then they try to, like, cram Warhammer 40K into some weird pigeonhole, or weird kind of like a square peg into this round Amazon hole, it might be pretty ugly. And
Yeah,
yeah.
if his social media is to be believed, he's pretty happy with the deal, it sounds like. Which, if everything we're being told about Henry Cavill is true about his fandom and everything, and how it literally his adherence to the lore is what ruined, why he walked away from Witcher. That makes me feel hopeful.
Yeah, yeah,
The
definitely.
second part of that is the Games Workshop executives should have immediately in their meetings pointed at, like, the Rings of Power and be like, "Don't do that."
Right. Yeah. Whatever you do, not that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were asking some opinions from Dan. This must be very British news source, because it's Dan Coatsworth, an investment analyst at AJ Bell. He was quoted as, when he's talking about this deal, as saying, "First, it should offer a stream of licensing revenue with very little additional cost borne by Games Workshop." So that's the beautiful thing about licensing it. As long as the licensee doesn't screw anything up and you have some say about it, there's no overhead. You're just it's all money, very little effort, and a lot of fees. And then second, it will showcase Games Workshop and its products, which could win over new fans. And that was the thing. They've actually, Games Workshop has been trying to cater to a little bit out of their traditional demographic in some of the, what they're doing with the game and the lore and everything. And I think it might be working, because I was at Warhammer a couple weeks ago. I was at a Warhammer store. There were two, maybe in their 30s, maybe early 40s, Japanese women setting up their armies in,
Wow,
a
that's
Warhammer
cool.
shop. And I was like, okay, I have not ever seen that. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
yeah, so they're obviously making the game more open, like it's not such a boys club, and not intimidating or not unappealing, in its setting. So that was, very interesting to see.
Yeah, they're on the precipice of a really weird phenomena where they're gonna get a ton of fans
Hmm.
of the lore who may not ever get into the gaming side of it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting split.
No, that's true. Yeah. And previously they've done some licensing. It's been video games and comic books. They've had some really good video game successes. The Space Marine series is awesome, but they've also had a lot of dogs and some mobile game, nonsense that's, basically just reskinned. You just, established games that they just reskinned with Warhammer. But Total Warhammer has done well for their fantasy franchise, and then Space Marine, I think, is keeping people happy with 40K. But we'll see. But that's another situation where they don't make all the money, but they don't have any of the effort or any of the risk. So yeah, licensing is pretty exciting for them. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, so the analyst is also saying that the deal itself could be very lucrative, referring to the Amazon deal. But it also sends a message to the world that Games Workshop is open to other partnerships if the treatment of its IP is handled correctly. So this could be the beginning of a huge expansion for them, because recently they kind of hit a threshold in their kind of financial growth. They had a 42% year-to-date rally, which put them in the FTSE 100 blue chip index, which means that they will be included in passive investment portfolios and things now because they're doing successful enough. So passive investors may include Games Workshop in their portfolios. So that's going to mean they have even more money. It's just going to be more and more shareholders, more and more financial support.
Good,
But
good say. I'm sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
Just good segue to your interview, and I guess you're gonna post the extras on Patreon.
Yes,
Patreon.
yeah, they'll be in on the RSS feed for Patreon. Yeah, the Trevor Duvall audio. Yep.
One of the stories Trevor tells is directly related to Games Workshop, and it's a great story.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it'll show you a little bit, yeah, behind the scenes, like what they were trying to do that they never quite figured out how to do. So that's great. Yeah, the one thing that this analyst is also worrying or referring to, though, which may be a problem for Games Workshop, is as they grow like this and become successful, it's also going to make them attractive to take over. Because yeah, if it becomes a valuable IP, there's companies like Disney that want to collect, valuable IPs, and that would be probably the worst thing that could ever happen. Is a somebody that can't handle intellectual properties like Disney having anything to say about something like Warhammer. So yeah.
Could you imagine it blowing up on Amazon, becoming a huge success, and then Disney buys Games Workshop and cancels the license? Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, and that could be. I mean, yeah, if somebody has has a bone to pick with Amazon, that could really hurt them. Yeah, if this becomes a little jewel in their streaming crown or their media crown, and that's the other thing too is Games Workshop has already done a half-assed implementation of a streaming service. They have Warhammer Plus. So maybe that was one of the things that they were kind of negotiating. So I wonder if Warhammer Plus will just remain kind of, battle reports and painting tutorials, which is something Amazon would never touch. And then all of the actual entertainment. So no more animation then on Warhammer Plus. It's probably all going to be handled by Amazon. Yeah, so I watched a little bit of those, Secret Level, that Amazon
Oh
series.
yeah, I haven't watched any of those yet.
They're real samey. I don't know if it's the same studio doing a lot of them. It's all like Unreal Engine 5 or whatever it is that, so they're doing different, it's different video game settings, but the animation all kind of looks the same. But the Games Workshop one was really good. But I don't, they're really unsatisfying because there's not enough narrative in them, and they're just kind of like, check out this IP. Like they all end with this kind of like, don't you want to see more? Isn't this cool? Like, and so it's weird because it's not like a cutscene from a game where it's leading you into a story. It's its own kind of thing. So it's a short, animation that's supposed to have a narrative arc, but the ending is always play the game if you like more, if you want to see more. It kind of has a weird tone to it. But the Pac-Man one is worth watching just because it's the most fucked up thing you've ever seen. Like,
Oh really? Okay.
yeah,
Maybe I'll have to watch that
yeah,
one.
it's a really weird. It's like, okay, what can we do with Pac-Man? Oh, okay, let's try some. Like, it's almost like a weird '70s sci-fi, like something from Heavy Metal magazine. It's just like, whoa, okay, well, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, I keep hearing like I'll see it's like 50-50 on my like Threads or Blue Sky feed, people that liked them or didn't like them. Andre, who played Dragonbane with us, he really liked the Warhammer one.
Yeah, it was good. It was good because it's Titus. It's Titus from Space Marine. So yeah, more Titus is always good.
And there's a lot of the D&D kids on social media that liked the D&D one.
Yeah, that one especially felt like a TV commercial for D&D. Like there was so little story, and it was just like, and here's Tiamat. And you're like, okay, yeah,
What?
yeah. It really felt like a TV commercial more than anything else. And
You
it's
don't open with Tiamat. What are you doing?
and they got this weird uncanny valley thing with a lot of that animation, and they used like Keanu Reeves and Arnold Schwarzenegger are in doing voices, and so their likeness, the characters are pretty close to their likeness, which must have been really expensive. But the look, it's not quite Polar Express creepiness, but it's very realistic and also creepy, cartoony at the same time. So
Kind of Rogue One level.
yeah. Right. It kind of is not quite. Yeah, not quite. A little unsettling. The gnome bugged the hell out of me in the Dungeons and Dragons one. She just had a real creepy look on her face the whole time. But yeah, so yeah, if you already have Amazon Prime, definitely check those out in the U.S. and see what you think. And it's funny, I think they're releasing them in like seasons or batches or whatever. So they're going to be releasing stuff that they did for games that don't exist anymore. So that'll be funny. Concord, that Sony hero shooter kind of arena shooter, whatever it was canceled after 2 weeks, but they did a short for it. So we're gonna get to see the world of something that no longer exists. Like it's like making a TV commercial for a discontinued, soft drink. But yes, so let's talk about some more newness. Free League announced, and they're real early. This is really early on. But they announced, and I'm sorry, Abyss. Abyss is already in therapy, I think, for all the elf stuff we mentioned on this on this show. But there are two Elven expansions coming out by Free League for the One Ring and also for their 5e Lord of the Rings roleplay game. So yeah, and they titled them differently, so they're very easily distinguishable. I think they're doing a really good job with that. Because that could be very confusing. If everything was named identically, you could actually pick up the wrong book if you overlooked it, the little subtitle of what system it was for. So for each setting, they name the expansions and the books differently. And of course, they have a different art direction and stuff. So 5e will bring you, let's see, where are these? The One Ring, the expansion is called The Realm of the Three Rings, and they kind of go into the little the three rings for the Elven kings, right? Our Sky Ring, our Water Ring, and our Fire Ring. And the one for 5e, the Lord of the Rings, is Keepers of the Elven-rings. And so both expansions are largely the same. And the little blurb from the book: in the twilight of the Third Age, three realms of the West Elves still endure in the Middle Earth. In Middle Earth, by the power of the three rings, they exist as a testament to a time that was. But not only the elves remember. As Sauron gathers his strength to bring war to Middle Earth once again, he plans a devious vengeance against those who humbled him long ago. And of course, yeah, the Free League books are always gorgeous. The One Ring stuff, especially, I really love. Like the paper quality, the illustration, how they just handle all the finishes are really nice. So, what will these books include? So, basically, the same content, just different mechanics. You get a write up of the realms of Lórien, Rivendell, and Lindon. The dark designs of the Dark Lord, so you'll learn what Sauron is doing and what he's scheming against the elves. So new events, enemies, and NPCs. New landmarks. These books live and die by their fantastic landmarks. So 12 sites of interest. The rules of lordship. So fitting for Middle Earth, you can create and play as High Elves. I'm sorry, Abyss. It's it's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna be a High Elf. And then. So you can pre-order, and so basically all the content to add elves and elf theming, because you already had all kinds of hobbits. Similar to what they've done with previous books, pre-orders are open now. All pre-orders give you immediate access to the PDF, full PDF with everything, and that means that April 22nd, you'll get your hands on the physical book. The recommended retail is $39.99 US for each book. And so you'll see them in spring, but if you pre-order them now, you can start using them now if you don't mind it only being digital. But
I played the Free League version of the One Ring one time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like we played it just long enough. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then the guy that was running it never ran it again.
Oh no.
I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, we'll have to dip into that. I've got a lot of I think I have just about everything they've released so far. So yeah, we can dip into that. You don't have to play as hobbits. We can skip over the starter set adventure and get right into some more interesting aspects of it. But yeah, that would be fun. Very cool. All right, and more Free League news. So this was the news that came out of PAX Unplugged, and it was a big surprise. I hope this is good. It sounds good, and I think if Stockholm Cartel is any example of this, this is probably a good move. Free League Publishing is now partnering with the outgunned TTRPG publisher Two Little Mice. So this is specifically for the Outgunned game so far, but both companies. So my inbox was full because both companies had to tell me about this, and then I got an update from PAX as well. So I got three versions of the same news. But similar to what Morkborg. And like Death in Space, and there's a few other games. And the funny thing is, this is what Free League first did with Modifius. So early days of the podcast, I got corrected by Free League in the comment section where they're like, yeah, this is not a Modifius game. This is a Free League game. They're just distributing it for us. And I think it was like Mutant Year Zero. Like I made the mistake of calling that a Modifius game. They're like, no, 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 no. But now Free League has grown, successful enough that they're in the position that Modifius was at that time of being distributors and having a bigger reach than some of the smaller developers, smaller game studios. So now they have partnered with. There's quite a few like kind of smaller games on the Free League web store that aren't their there aren't their IPs. They didn't develop them, but they're supporting the games and the publishers. And now that's going to happen without Outgunned. So Two Little Mice, the Italian studio responsible for that game, are partnering for distribution. And as we speak, if you go to the web store, you can for Free League you can buy Outgunned on there. So everything I think they did that was released, because the Outgunned Adventure isn't out yet, but all the stuff that was released in the first and there's at retail for the first version of Outgunned is available. And of course that's the director's cut system with the D6 dice pools where you're going for pairs and triples and four of a kind. Mm-hmm. So both companies said they are very excited. So this is a good sign. They said we're very excited to announce both ends, and they had an event. So both Saturday and Sunday at PAX, they had an event where, not an event. The developers, the members of Two Little Mice, appeared at the Free League booth to kind of cement the deal, and there was a live stream as well in the Free League's live stream lounge, live stream at PAX to kind of announce how things are going. And also Ricardo Cignano appeared with their host. So I love that Free League has pivoted to using Eleanor Di Lorenzo for as their host, because she is a cutie patootie. She's awesome. I love and it's perfect. I think she must be Swedish Italian descent. So it's nice. She's helping Two Little Mice. Maybe she was even responsible for saying these are good guys. You should bring them in. So she's been hosting a lot of Free League stuff. And she does a good job. Her if you want to watch a good actual play, her running that original, the Lost Mountain of the Giants, their original setting for Basin. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. So now Outgunned is going to be more widely available. Probably see it just about everywhere now, which is good. That was the one thing I worried about. I mean, Two Little Mice do such a good job. The quality of their production, their games are fun, the settings are fun, but it's like, are the games going to be too expensive? Are they going to have trouble, getting them out there? If they're going to handle the retail of it, is it going to be too expensive to be shipping everything from Italy? Everything from the EU. So this is good. Good to see that they've got some support.
Yeah, and they the two systems, like the house systems, they're different, but there's similarities. They're D6 dice pools based on an attribute and a skill.
Right.
It's obviously different how you evaluate your successes, but you also have conditions in both. When you for being injured or whatever, and so I think it'd be like if you took people who played a Year Zero game or had played an outgun game, it wouldn't be hard for them to jump in and learn the other. So
Hmm.
there's some synergy there that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true. The similar thinking, kind of modern gaming thinking. That I think,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
both of them feature. So that's good. Yeah, it's good to see, and it's good that because they were associated early days with Kaman. I think Kaman helped them do Broken Compass, and maybe even the beginning of Household. But it was good that that just became their thing because I think the success they've seen with Household. And yes, I did back the
You
second
did back
expansion.
household? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be punished for that because when the shipping comes and then the import tax comes, it's gonna be expensive to get it here. But I was really thinking they're doing such great things and they're making these like beautiful objects of games, and it doesn't make any sense to like miss out on that because this is not going to happen. Like things are going to change. Like the game,
Yeah.
gaming is going to change. It's going to become very digital. It's going to be
Yeah.
hard. So we may be the last like decade of this being a thing. So to actually have that that piece of the history, I think is very nice because it's just
Yeah.
which is gorgeous. And I've just got to get it to the table. I got to find people that are comfortable with playing very tiny characters. But yeah, it's just they're really beautiful, and it would be a shame to just kind of piecemeal try to pick it up through retail where it's being offered in such a nice package, a nice heavy, expensive, difficult to ship package, but it's still
Yeah, there have been a lot of big, beautiful uh, Kickstarters lately that
hmm.
it's like, oh man,
Yeah, Discworld.
I almost told Trevor in the interview, I almost was like, I sacrificed Discworld to get your game, just so
Oh,
you know, but
yeah.
I didn't tell him that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's just so many cool
Yeah,
things.
yeah, Discworld was really beautiful. That was one that was hard to pass up on because that's not gonna happen again. It's really
Mhm.
it's so cool that these things are going on.
I have to buy it on eBay in a couple of years for way too much money.
Right. Yeah, it is going to be like once this becomes just too impractical, once materials costs and once the the world economy like tanks following America's lead, then we'll all regret not having these like gorgeous physical, games to mess around with. But we'll enjoy our digital subscriptions because that'll be all that's left. Rolling our digital dice on our digital tabletops. Oh man. Yeah, so that is going to do it for this week. So yeah, Matt's brought it up a little bit before the podcast, but yeah, we did an interview with Trevor Duvall from the Broken Empires RPG that was his baby that was crowdfunded, and he had a lot of interesting things to say about both physical gaming in person versus virtual tabletops, and kind of what he was trying to do with their game, like how he was doing kind of a greatest hits of everything he's played, throughout his career gaming. So I think so check that out on the channel, and if you're a patron, check out the extra bonus material that'll be available on the RSS feed. So
Are
we'll
you going to be
do.
able to put that in the members stuff too,
Oh,
or
sure. Yeah, I can do that as well. I'll just do like a thumbnail, but I can do the members for the YouTube as well. Yeah, I wish it wouldn't be hard to implement because now YouTube has podcasts in YouTube Music, so they should incorporate. I wish the members section for YouTube included audio only, but yeah, I will make sure we get a version of that for YouTube members so that everything matches. But yeah, that'll pop up on your RSS feed if you're already a patron. And yeah, members, I won't let you down. I'll get everybody that's on YouTube. And yeah, so I'll post when that goes up, I'll post a notification. And like you mentioned before, we won't be gaming live. There won't be any actual play this week, but Matt will be actually playing in kind of a time delayed, previously recorded to tape, not in front of a live studio audience, a version of his solo play of Cyborg. So we put that together and using, I almost called it Astral, using alchemy. Astral is dead, and Astral is Terrible. It's terrible. Oh, and that was the thing too. Speaking of the long dead Astral, I went back once we got kind of screwed over for them just letting the domain point to illegal gambling websites for Astral.
Right.
It looks like one bookshelf and Roll20 are the same company. Like they're one big thing now. Yes.
Uh,
So it is all merged because we've reported about like the PDFs now being drag and drop from Drive Through RPG and everything. And the reason I think that was all implemented is because it is one company. Like if you look at the listings in the directory, it's one big company now, along with that Dungeon Scribe, the mapping tool, mapping software. That's all under one big company now. So yeah, they're kind of fortifying themselves against Wizards of the Coast.
are
But
they big enough to buy Discord?
yeah, really. They're going to need to. But yeah, so that's what's happening with the channel. So, Matt, where can people find you?
Oh, I am on Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram. It's at Hargold, Hargald, where I talk mostly games with some other things. And recently I've been talking about how I was pleasantly surprised by Skeleton Crew.
Oh, yeah.
I was super skeptical, but I'm enjoying it.
Cool.
Surprisingly enjoying it. So talking about that, talking about our game sessions a little and the solo experience a little.
Nice.
So yeah, how about you?
I do a single panel gag cartoon, which I draw live, and it shows up on this channel when I draw it now. So it's got its own channel, Abuse Cartoons, on YouTube and Twitch, and but it'll also show up on Upturned Table just because I only do it once a month now, and so it's a single panel gag cartoon about inanimate objects that are very emotionally disturbed. So check that out at gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And if you want to support what we're doing here on the weekly, you can become a weekling. That's on Patreon. So patreon.com/upturned table. And you can get access to exclusive content like all the extra stories that Trevor told us during the interview on the RSS feed. And the audio from this whole live stream will go up on the RSS feed as well for patrons. And you can also click that join button below if you're watching this on YouTube and become a YouTube member. And you'll have the same content as well as there's, audiobooks, the kind of anytime we do something kind of large and protracted, the whole thing kind of cut together as a big supercut, actual plays or the lore series and things go up in the member section as one big, no commercial ad interrupted versions that you can enjoy for your membership. And upturntable.com is the website, Upturn Table on all social media. And we will be back again next week. Tune in for Matt's Sticks and Stone Cyborg solo actual play. That'll go up this weekend in place of our usual actual play. And yeah, we'll be back again next week.
Bye.
Goodbye. right. Well, good to have you, Matt. Thanks for helping me with some co-hosting. It was a little I forgot how weird and rambly just a no co-host is on the weekly. So I appreciate it.
Try a solo game.
Oh
That's really
yeah,
rambling.
yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that I was worried about doing solo stuff is can I keep the momentum going? And we even had that when we were talking to Trevor. He even said that it's like he is a showman. He's a professional voice actor, so he gets torn between showmanship and actually trying to play the game, and those are not like totally compatible things. Making an entertaining video and making a fun game session are not don't mean the same thing.
Yeah, and if you watch his solo stuff, it's really cool because he does the voices and everything, and he has like a 4 camera setup, I think. So he's like
Hmm.
when he's doing different voices, he's turning to different cameras and stuff, and uh, but he's going really fast. Like he's
Hmm.
just like boom, 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 and like I didn't go that fast.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's also from like working for television and stuff. Like he knows how stuff stuff is edited, how fast things are edited, and wants to kind of
Yeah,
have that sort of thing. Yeah, I could spend a whole time talking to him, just interviewing about his equipment, because
mm,
as soon as his mic came on Discord, I was just melting. The audio was so good. I was like, oh
it
my
was good.
god, yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was good.
Yeah, so it's a real advantage to come from, and he even said that too. That like during the pandemic, you could really tell the voice actors that knew their shit technically, and the guys that were just like halfway across the room yelling at their laptop when they
Doing it
were
from their shower.
yeah when they were online, not realizing what they were doing, but yeah, his mic setup and everything, he was like just right there. It sounded like we were like in the same room having a conversation. It was really nice. But yeah, but his setup is beautiful because those voice actors are paid pretty well. So and I'm sure he's
Especially, yeah, if they're getting regular work like he does.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. That's really funny how and it's interesting his career took him from Canada to LA, and then like everybody around the pandemic time, they're just like, why are we paying these taxes and why are we on these freeways, and let's just get the hell out of here. And if they could, so many people just got the heck out of Southern California, because if they're working remotely, making Los Angeles money in other places in America is wonderful. Yeah, that's what you want to do,
Yeah.
because the yeah, property taxes and everything. Yeah, the house that my daughter and I were looking at the house that we lived in Los Angeles, and the property taxes are insane now. Like the whole area just like improved. It's like we would literally be foreclosed on, or just have a lien against the house just because we couldn't pay the property taxes anymore.
Yeah.
It's like we wouldn't have paid off the mortgage, and the taxes would have been so insane. And that probably did like literally just chase people away. They're just like, yeah, we could barely afford this house during the low interest rate, mortgage rates of the 2000s. Now the property taxes are just insane. So before we go upside down, let's get the hell out of here. Yeah, but yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, it's getting nuts, and well, I don't want to get into politics, but I, we live in California is one of the states that's going to be on the shit list with a
Mm,
certain orange person
mm.
when that all goes down. So who knows what's going to happen to our economy?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. We shall see. Yeah, it's been an interesting mix of oh yeah, we won't get too into politics, but it's funny. There's two groups: the governors that are like put them up, and the other ones that are like, "Hey, I always really liked you secretly."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
It's really the creeps are creeping. Yeah.
yeah, so we'll see what happens. Oh man,
Did you watch Skeleton Crew at all?
yes, yeah, I've seen the first three. Yeah, that's all that's out right now.
What'd you
Yeah,
think?
I didn't think the kids were great when it was only the kids, and the parents are okay. But once Jude Law got involved, I was like, okay, wait a minute, he can do the dialogue, he can handle the humor. And once the colorful cast of aliens and robots and stuff got going on the pirate planet or
Yeah.
the pirate base, that was fun. And I was like, okay, this isn't they. I think they left them alone. They figured
Uh-huh.
like Andor, this is a small thing. Who
Yep.
knows who's going to be interested? Let's just let them do their thing. And as soon as Jude Law got involved, I was like, okay, I think this is not going to be. It's that they're finally doing something that might actually attract a new fan. They've done
Hmm.
nothing previously there's nobody like, 15 and under that would go near anything Star Wars because it's just ridiculous. Yeah. It's really, really bad and too nostalgic for stuff they have no idea what they're
Yeah.
referencing. Yeah.
Yeah. The kids are fine. Like it's essentially for kids, so
Hmm.
I kind of hand wave the kiddie stuff a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
but it's nice that like it's not like some of the other ones where they're throwing the lore references in your face, like
Hmm. Hmm.
they're there. You can see like the references and the Easter eggs or whatever, but it's not all up front and like look at fan service,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is nice. And it is totally just like reverse Treasure Island,
Hmm.
which is kind of neat. I mean, they actually have me thinking about what the hidden planet is all about.
Yeah, the mystery is good. Yeah, the mystery, and it might turn out to be disappointing. Like once they reveal it, you're just like, oh. But it's got a nice and a kid type mystery. Like the I like the fact that the kids are like, oh, where we live is boring, but it's probably like the most precious thing in the Republic. They
Mm.
probably have done some weird thing to preserve this thing, and the kids all they want to do is leave. So that's very 80s kids kind of, thinking this my small town is stupid. Let's get out of here. Have an adventure.
There's a lot of theories that it's actually uh, under the control of the people that are going to become the First Order,
Oh, yeah. That's
or it's under the control of indirectly, Palpatine. Somehow Palpatine returned, and it's like because I have all that reference to the gold, like the old Republic credits,
mhm, mhm.
and what a big deal they are, how valuable they are. And so I've seen some theories like, well, maybe that's how he could afford to build his ridiculous new Star Destroyer fleet.
Right, right.
Stuff.
Somehow Palpatine formed an HOA. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
which that's probably like if they really want to continue making things that care about the movies,
Mhm.
this is probably the better way to do it. Like it's related, but it's not directly involved.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't have to deal with the Skywalker stuff, and
Hmm. Hmm.
we don't have to deal with those, how those movies unfolded. Ugh.
Right, right.
Uh, so they're kind of like Dune Prophecy. It's like it's related to the big story,
Hmm.
but it's
Hmm.
it's doing its own thing.
Right, right.
May not be perfect, but it's better than just the ham-fisted fan service stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still sticking with Dune Prophecy. I can see now because they're talking about how many showrunners changed in the process of developing that show, and you can kind of feel it. You can kind of feel like they took away some episodes. They're smashing Dune Prophecies, like the story they wanted to tell. They're kind of smashing it down, and they're telling stuff out of order. So it would have been more powerful if they could have told it in order. I think,
Yeah,
but they
yeah,
did. They didn't have time to do it. So I'm still hanging in there because I'm basing that on the fact that the source material is such garbage for Dune Prophecy that anything they do is going to be better than those books,
yeah,
that those the Brian Herbert
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And like overall, I'm fairly okay with it. I think this last episode was better than the third
Hmm.
episode,
Hmm.
but I still have problems with it. Like I was listening to these guys talk about it online, and They're talking about the rebel plan to blow up the Landsrod High Council
Uh-huh.
or the Imperial Palace or whatever. And it's like, why did they need to even deal with the Ixians and get an AI drone to fly the nuke into the palace when we already know that those things can be remotely controlled?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so there's that. That is kind of a weak thing. And then it's
Mm.
like, what do these rebels really want? Like they don't spend any time with the rebels to really understand what their political motivations are.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if it's like if you blow up the Emperor and the High Council, how does that make everyone get spice?
Right.
That probably just plunges the galaxy into anarchy, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. So, and that was the thing that I noticed about the expanded universe, like Dune books, is they tried to make them epic by just jumping around to a bunch of different locations and adding, having a bunch of characters, and that was the thing that I think if Dune Prophecy would have been a little more focused, if there's like the palace, the Carino kind of palace intrigue stuff,
Mm.
or the Bene Gesserit. I think that would have been a stronger show if they would have focused. But maybe they backpedaled. Maybe it was going to be very, Hogwarts school of Bene Gesserit kind of thing. The series, because I think originally wasn't it called Sisterhood, like Dune?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Because the book's called that, right?
Right.
Sisterhood
And
of
they would just
Dune.
focus, they would just more focused on that. But yeah, they are kind of jumping around with, I don't know, not so many, not very interesting characters, and they kind of keep moving around to, I don't know, it's not even like a B story. It's just like these, like, Z or X levels. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Characters that you
not.
don't care about.
I'm not too engaged with the princess and her brother,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't given us enough of the Swordmaster Atreides guy to. You don't get a feel for what his real motives are because they haven't revealed that stuff yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do like Valia and Tula. I think they're kind of cool, and they're kind
Mm-hmm.
of showing. You're kind of seeing in the last episode how broken the Harkonnens are because she literally just watches her uncle
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see how evil she actually is because she's got that girl, that sister with her,
Mm-hmm.
who's apparently like a beta test for a face changer,
Right. Right.
a face dancer,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just know that the whole reason she brought her into the sisterhood was so that she'd be an asset she could use later on.
Mm-hmm.
So you really get a sense. You're starting to get the sense of how cold-blooded they are, and they're extension the sisterhood is.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do what we need to do, kind of thing.
Right. Right.
So I am kind of enjoying that. They need to show. I think they need a little better job of showing how physically adept the sisters are.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like they did the whole thing with a couple times in the last episode of her like flashing her knife around and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, no, show me. I can't remember what's called, but it's like the Bene Gesserit Krav Maga, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like show her or one of them just like absolutely taking a dude out with like 3 pressure points or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right. Yeah, I think that's the weirding technique, because that's what
yeah,
Lynch,
yeah.
yeah, David Lynch made that sound module thing, but that's
Oh
actually
yeah,
just the martial
that's
arts of the Bene Gesserit. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's stupid. What Lynch did. But yeah, anyway.
Right. Right. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, it seems like things went wrong during the kind of production of that show. They lost their way a little bit and kind of got trimmed down. So I wonder if we're going to see another season of it. I wonder if there's going to be.
I hope so because 6 episodes for a
Yeah,
political story just
it's
doesn't
not.
seem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not much. Yeah, and the art direction and everything is great because it feels enough like the Villeneuve, the Denis Villeneuve films, that you think it feels like the same world. It's just not, the stories aren't as well told, and it's not as
Yeah.
yeah, it's not as it just, yeah, it has it's lacking, but it's still satisfying enough. And if you can get your mind back into that thinking of, yeah, there's movies and there's television, where like streaming is trying to blur this line between
Yeah.
television that looks like a movie. It just isn't the same quality. It costs as much, but it isn't the same quality.
Yeah, a great example of that is the space travel. Like they're jumping from planet to planet, and it's clear to anyone who knows the story that they're just traveling on a highliner.
Mhm.
But they're not even after I think the first episode, they never again showed ships like go from the highliner
Ah,
to a planet,
right, right,
They just wiped to, and now we're on this other planet.
right, right.
And that's a budgetary thing,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
oh, I did have a beef with that too. Is it the
Oh,
first or second? I think it's the second episode
uh-huh.
where they show the Harkonnens in their house,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, I know they're in the doghouse in the Landsrat, and I know they got banished to this shitty planet, but they're still a noble house, and they're living like some kids imagining of a Viking or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't buy that. It would look a little nicer than
Right,
that.
right. And they got rich. They got rich off of the whale fur, but they just like one at a time. They like kill like maybe two or three of them at a time, and
Yeah, yeah.
hand slaughter them. It's like I think they would have probably automated that a little bit. if
Yeah,
they,
yeah, they should add like a factory system like that one episode of Mandalorian where he's working in
oh yeah, yeah.
whatever that was.
Yeah. And that would be good to show them like starting to industrialize, like realizing they're going to over industrialize once they get to Giddy Prime. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would be a cool thing to reference.
And a lot of people are complaining in the part where the Atreides hunting party was out at their lodge or whatever, the cool murder thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they're like, well, it doesn't really look like what we're used to seeing for the Atreides planet. Blanking right now.
Caladan.
What's it?
Yeah.
Caladan.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't really look like Caladan. We're used to rocks and ocean and mountains, and this is just like a nice little forest. And it's like, so maybe they were on the Imperial planet, but no one ever told us that was what they were doing.
Right, right, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they didn't do the little. They stopped. I think after the first episode or two, doing the chyrons, like showing the
Yeah.
location stuff. Yeah, maybe they just didn't even know. I don't even know where we are. So let's just use this scene. Yeah, that's funny.
And the Ixian should have had like one chrome eye or something.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Right, right. Yeah, something a little more, a little more telltale. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, and as we see, as the multiple streaming platforms and stuff to start to consolidate down, we're not going to see any more of this. Like they're going to stop gambling on much of this stuff. So we're lucky we got Dune television at all, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope they'll make another season, but yeah, I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because it's got to be expensive. Like it's got to be to do it well. And looking at like the content of any of the other books too, you're just like, oof, yeah, no, you can't afford that. But I think all those shows are having that. Like House of the Dragon is having that. They just can't have enough dragon time. It's called House of the Dragon, and there's not money dragons in the show because it's expensive. Yeah, so
That was another one I was thinking about was you kind of see Dune's costuming going the route of House of the Dragon, where it's like everything's starting to look kind of samey
yeah,
a little bit, and like if you read the books, there's a lot of color, like a lot of colorful, especially like the Imperial House. They're real gaudy,
right, right.
and but Villeneuve didn't do that, so these guys didn't do it. But they're on a tighter budget than Villeneuve, so they couldn't take more basic looking stuff and make it look beautiful.
Right, right.
And that was a big problem with that Dragon one because it just kind of looked like we all get issued this black leather.
Yeah,
and
right, right.
That's what we all wear.
Right. Or the weird, the strange Numerian armor in Rings of Power is just that heat formed like foam sheeting that they're trying to pretend is like chainmail or scale mail. It looks terrible. It looks really,
or
really bad.
or the season one Witcher
Oh,
armor that the bad guys wore that was like
right.
cloth plate mail or something.
Yeah, yeah. There's some wrinkly trash bag looking
Yeah.
stuff, and yeah, yeah. Oh, I just saw they had the kind of teaser trailer for the Witcher 4 game.
Uh,
So that
oh, the
looks
game.
fun. Yeah,
Okay.
the game. Yeah, that looks fun. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's also a fourth season of Witcher coming. But the game, yeah, so CD Projekt Red is actually going to do another Witcher game, and it looks pretty good. But
That'll be fun. I like the Witcher games.
yeah, yeah, the games. I'm enjoying the games much more than the show, the Netflix show. I mean, it's like the game gives you awesome characters and awesome little story things you could do, like, problem of the week kind of stuff for
Yeah.
Geralt, because of all the stuff that's in the game, all the little side quests and stuff. You could keep him busy forever, but instead it just gets caught up in some really bad writing, chasing little
Well,
girls around.
they went straight for the epic stuff, and it's the same thing so many of these shows do. Mandalorian kind of did it too.
Mm,
They went straight for the big picture when the first two Witcher books were short story
right,
anthologies.
right.
It's like, give me some episodical adventure here.
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah.
could build these characters for a couple seasons and then
Mhm.
do that shit.
That's got to be the corporate thing with the streaming platforms, is they're like, no, 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 we're not doing episodic, it's serial, because we want people to binge this, we want people to stay subscribed. If they could just jump in and out and watch the episodes in any order, then retention, that they probably have their all the information they have from the viewing. They have probably determined that you shouldn't do anything episodic. It just it hurts retention. So everything has to be these huge story arcs, season story arcs. So it's really ruined the storytelling, and a lot of the properties that they use could really do like a monster of the week or a little, because that was the great thing about season 1 of The Mandalorian. It was just like almost like kung fu. Like he just wandered into town and wandered
It
onto a
was.
planet, and he was dealing with a problem, that they had.
Yeah, it was. It was like Kung Fu or that old Incredible Hulk show or
Right,
something.
right.
And yeah, they need. Well, I would say Mandalorian needs to go back to that, but it doesn't sound like they're going back.
No,
They're just gonna do the movie.
right. Got to get more Grogu merch in there, and they'll be all set. Yeah, that's all they really
Which,
need.
if they were brave, it might be interesting if they did go full lone wolf, eh,
Lone Wolf
in
and Cub.
Cub,
Yeah,
and like just Mandalorian's just murdering people,
yeah. Right.
But they're not gonna do that.
Oh yeah, that would have been brutal. And Grogu gets this 1,000-yard stare of just like, I've seen so much death.
Yeah. And then he builds little scythe blades that come out of the sides of his hover
Right, right,
cart.
right. Yeah, and then he just starts pulling people apart with the force, just like shredding, disemboweling his victims. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's funny. But yeah, that was funny. They had a concept there that could have worked, but yeah, I think there's something wrong with that corporate structure over at that Disney place.
Too many executives just disrupting the process, I think.
Mm,
That and Dave Filoni, I'm convinced, does not know how to direct human beings. Like,
right, right.
he's great with animation, but I don't think he knows how to evoke a good performance from an actor.
Oh, but he was the hope. He was the hope of Lucasfilm. He was going to take over. He's going to be the Kevin Feige of Lucasfilm.
I think yeah, it's kind of weird because it was him and the guy whose name I forgot on our stream the other day, and now I've forgotten it again.
Favreau, John Favreau.
Favreau,
Yeah,
thank you, thank you.
yeah.
Uh, and I think Favreau understands actors and movie making more, and probably should be more directly involved.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to pay him what he's worth. It sounds like. I think that's always been John Favreau's problem. Like, stories I heard about like Iron Man 2 and stuff. And basically like he created like he was the initial success, and the reason there was a an MCU, like a Marvel Cinematic Universe, was because of the success of his film, and they immediately took it away from him. So it's like, okay, whatever. Because they knew best. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Jeremy, Abyss is surprised you did not hear the Shin Megami Tensei board game fiasco.
Oh, I did not.
I don't even know what that it means.
That's I think it's called, the later versions were called Persona. It's kind of like a it's a JRPG with demons. I did not hear yeah, I think
Kickstarter ends today, and the Japanese company behind it screwed up.
uh-oh. Well, they tend to do that. Yeah, I think it's called Persona now. Like they eventually stopped, so they could market it more internationally. Yeah, let me check and see. Yeah, I haven't nobody that's the board game. It seems like a hard. Oh my God! Look at all those miniatures. Seems like a hard thing to.
Oh, so it's an anime, of course.
Yeah, I think
Were there
I don't know if it's been an animated series, but it's been a series of games. I think they're up to, they've done quite a few games. But it's just like basically like your high school kids, and you can. It's not quite Pokemon, but it's you have to like battle demons, but you can also then kind of enslave them to fight for you. So it's just like a turn-based RPG kind of thing. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything about this. It looks very badly executed.
Yeah, I'm not loving the design I'm seeing here.
No. Oh, but the early bird pledge is almost $500. That's great in Japanese. Wow, these pledge levels are insane. Yeah, they definitely, the cheapest you can get in, and it was early bird, so it's probably sold out, is $314, and then the regular game is $393. Jeez. I don't think Japan gets the Ameritrash, lots of plastic, way to do this. That's expensive.
Looks like it's translated, like the English is all translated too.
Yeah, probably machine translated. Yeah, they haven't. They don't like to pay translators if they don't have to. Wow. No, yeah, I didn't hear. I should read. I'm sure the comment section on this is pretty fun. Oh yeah, it's got 1,000 comments. Yeah, it's probably really fun.
It barely made more than Broken Empires.
Wow.
Usually, big board game properties go crazy on
Oh yeah,
Kickstarter.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, if this is going to be, that's well, I guess they'll probably produce it in China, but if they're trying to fulfill a lot of this to Japan, that's not going to be easy. Yeah, it's like half Japanese, half English in the comments.
Oh, they didn't machine translate the use of AI section.
Oh,
Interesting. Wonder what that says. Can you read that?
oh wait, where is it? Where is it?
It's
Oh,
at
I'm
the
on the right there. Very
almost
bottom.
bottom of on the left side where the options are, like team and
Oh, there
risks
it is.
and
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Uh Oh yeah, no, they admit, yeah, that their promotional material is using AI, but the game itself is not AI.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. We're gonna use it. Well, and yeah, I think that's the mistake everyone's made, is thinking that they can just throw AI images on social media and no one's gonna notice.
The mini sculpts don't look all that great.
No, it looks like, where they start with the kind of generic base figure and then they try to add detail to it and they just don't do it enough. Yeah.
And the board is really small and simplistic. I don't know what kind of game this is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't think they know. Yeah, I don't think they know how to do this. I don't think this is a thing Japan can do. Because Japan is very famous for the kind of micro games, like it's like 15 components that fit in, basically the size of like a sucrets, like a mint tin. They can do amazing games with like 10 cards and two tokens, and they have a whole get a whole game out of it.
Have you ever heard of a Japanese board game? Its English name is Shadow Hunters.
It sounds familiar. Yeah.
I bought it a million years ago, and it's
Uh-huh.
actually it's kind of fun, but it's goofy as hell.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's literally this weird little board,
Uh-huh.
really small, about half the size of a typical board game board,
Right.
and it has like 6 zones,
Hmm.
and everybody gets a character that's their secret identity that has a special power that they can use when they reveal their identity.
Hmm.
And everyone is either like the good guy, light people, the evil shadow people, or neutral.
Uh-huh.
And so the neutral people all have unique victory conditions, and the good guys win by beating the bad guys, and bad guys win by beating the good guys. Anyway, literally the whole thing is you roll dice and you move from one of these 6 regions to another based on what you rolled,
Hmm.
and you go there and there's a deck associated with that, and you'll draw a card, and it'll either be something that is like a one-time effect that can hurt you or hurt somebody else, or it's gear. And the whole point of the game is just to run around shooting people and hope you don't shoot the people that are on your side because it's all secret, you
Right,
know.
right.
And it gets crazy because it can handle up to like 7 people. So it's just constantly people running around shooting at you and stuff. And there's no like rules about gear, so you can literally have like a shotgun that fires axes, you know, and
Right.
it's just ridiculous stuff going on.
Nice.
But it's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's That's what their board kind of reminded me of because it's
Mm.
small and not and limited looking, you know.
Yeah, yeah, because nobody has like a full-size kitchen table here. It's like very rare. Like most people are really even like a big dining room table is not big enough for like a full, like
Yeah,
Twilight Imperium or whatever. You could not play that on a table in
yeah,
Japan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or what's the other Japanese one we play? It's a lot of fun. Oh, Traders of Osaka. Have you ever played that?
Oh no, no.
Oh, it's so much fun. You should get a copy because you live in Osaka now.
Yeah, I better. I better. Maybe it's required. Yeah.
It's just a really simple, elegant kind of Euro game about buying goods and delivering them on the coast of Japan.
Nice.
But the board is tiny. The board
Oh wow.
fold
Yeah.
the board folds out to less than the size of like a letter size sheet of paper.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, they're really famous for doing that. They can making the getting the most out of like the fewest number of components. Yeah. Nice. Very cool. All right. Yeah, so this is saying it sucks a project like that because the minis are simplistic when it comes to painting. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, strange. Yeah, I didn't even know they were doing. That's funny. Um, if they people managed to get the rights for games and stuff that they shouldn't have gotten. It's weird.
So, did the way we finished that alien adventure,
Mhm.
how did much different was it from when you ran it with your in real life folks?
Oh, it kind of gets screwed up because Chris was the hidden android, and she couldn't attend the last. We did like 3 or 4 sessions, and she wasn't there the last session, so I just immediately took over the android and made her kind of like more of a terrorist, like more directly, like threatening everybody and like announcing, like announcing over the intercom, the Wayland Utani is an evil corporation. And so basically what happened is they fled, like 2 of the players fled. They left the android behind, even though she helped them through the whole thing. They bailed on her. They ejected the EEV, but the pirates picked them up and then just like as soon as they got them aboard the ship, they just massacred them. They just opened fire and just obliterated the survivors. And I didn't have a chance because we kind of had to. Our sessions were real short, and everyone's just started getting up and saying, "I got to get my train. I got to leave." But I was going to have the Wayland Utani, she made it over to the pirates and made a deal with the pirates, and so she was the one that ordered them to just execute everybody that came aboard the ship. But and I wanted to have a scene like where she had the blood burster, coming out of her as they were like dying in the gunfire. She was also like hatching the thing that was going to kill the pirate ship. But I didn't get to finish that because everyone was like, gotta go. Okay, that was fun. Bye.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. But it was just it was an ugly kind of massacre at the end because everybody just got ugly. Everybody just got mean with each other, and yeah, it was funny, but it's a shame because I think that people like missed random sessions, so it didn't have as much continuity. Because
that'll break the tension for sure.
Right, yeah, and people were after work and a little bit tired and stuff, so it didn't go, didn't go over as well as it could have. But it was fun to do that in person, and like we had a bunch of props on the table and the little like drinking bird, stuff, so a bunch of stuff that felt more like an alien movie. A lot of like funny little odd props and stuff.
So when are we getting part 2 of Abyss asks? I think we may be good for next Friday. Sounded like.
Oh yeah, for the 20th. Yeah, maybe it's or the 20th. Yeah, 20th. Yeah.
I think we got a couple yeses and a maybe.
Okay, yeah. So I'm all set. We might have a little bit of difficulty, using Roll20 for the first time, but I have it all set up in Roll20, so we can play anytime. But if I don't know, I might set it up in Foundry as well. I don't know, because I'm more comfortable with that, and then we'll have less. And we've already played a whole campaign at Foundry.
If you think you fixed that problem with the server or whatever,
I think so. Yeah. I think
you should use the one you want to use.
Yeah. I think doing the work I did on the router, I think fixed any connection problems. So,
and then I will do session 2 of the cyborg thing. I'm gonna do Monday.
So nice. Oh, very cool.
You should have another video of that from me, maybe by Wednesday or something.
Nice. Oh, that's great. Very cool. Yeah. I want to listen to everything that you do and maybe do some little scenes for character art, of the events that happened in the session.
I was going to ask you if you could do a one for the. Did you listen to it, or did you just kind of?
I didn't get all the way through, but I kind of jumped. Yeah, I jumped around, so I heard some scenes. Yeah.
Did you hear any of the part with the guy that almost killed us?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That character I would love a portrait for.
That'd be awesome. Cool. Yeah, that would be good. All right. Yeah. If I get a chance, I think I should. I don't think is he next week, so yeah, I should get a chance to do that. But yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I think that's so fun because then I can be your I can do your fan art basically. I'll be your critter, your critter for your solo actual play.
We'll see how it goes. Like because I built in something for Styx for kind of her long-term goal. And I'd love to kind of fit that into some, like maybe a 3-story arc or something.
Cool.
But I'm going to kind of rely on the Oracle and stuff too. So, it might not be that long. I don't know.
Right. Cool. Yeah. Nice. But so we'll get that up. I rendered that already. The audio fix you sent me.
Cool.
So we should be ready to go. I think I'm going to have to do the content ID. Like I have to upload the license for the music. But other than that, we're good to go with the whole episode. Should be good. Yeah, and the levels were great. The fix worked perfectly.
Oh, good.
Yeah, what you did. Yeah, so I'll upload it so you can hear it. I didn't want to do it during our streaming just in case it killed my internet. Just in case it goes connection trouble. while we were.
Internet cutting the sounds, Abyss says.
Oh no. Are
Yeah,
we
I
having
noticed
some?
my screen froze for a while.
Oh yeah. I've got some drop frames. Yeah, we're getting a little bit
A
of
little bit.
trouble. Sorry about that. Yeah,
Well, we should probably wrap pretty soon anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's weird. We're getting some drop frames. Sorry, guys. Fun with the internet, but yeah. So we'll post the extended interview and then Matt's solo cyborg in the next few days, and there's some other good stuff. Yeah, I have to unbox and stuff, and yeah, stuff I'm thinking about adding. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. It was good to see everybody. Thanks for popping by. Orcus showed up and Clarion, as always, and Abyss, cool, and a little bit of James.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely having issues.
Oh,
It's
okay. Sorry.
getting the spinning wheel of death now.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, we'll cut it here then. That's going to make for some juicy audio. Okay. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back again next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.